Now we are going to learn about vectors. First, let us talk about physical quantity. What is meant by physical quantity? Physical quantity nothing but a quantity which can be measured. A quantity which can be measured. We call that as physical quantity. Physical quantities are classified into two types. They are scalar quantity, vector quantity. What do you mean by scalar quantity? Scalar quantity means which has only magnitude. Which has only magnitude. It don't have any direction. It don't have any direction. Such quantities are called scalar quantities. For example, you can take time. If I ask you what is the time now, you will tell me 5 o'clock, but you will not tell any direction. Such quantities are called scalar quantities. There are so many examples for scalar quantities. A good example is a distance. What is the distance? You will tell 5 centimeters, 5 kilometers, 5 meters, but you cannot say in this direction. We call that quantities which has only magnitude but no direction. Such quantities are called scalar quantities. Right. Now what do you mean by vector quantity? Vector quantity is nothing but which has both magnitude and direction. It has both magnitude and direction. Such quantities are called vector quantities. If I ask you to push the door, nothing but you are applying some force. You are applying the force. How much force you are applying? You will tell 5 newtons. In which direction? Yes, you can show the direction also. Nothing but there it has magnitude and direction. Such quantities are called vector quantities. Right. Now our topic is to learn about the vectors. To learn about the vectors. Now vector. How a vector is represented? A vector is represented by a directed line segment. You know what is meant by line segment? Which has two end points. Which has two end points. Suppose now I am telling directed line segment. Directed means nothing but at one side I am going to keep an arrow mark. Nothing but now this line segment is having some direction. Nothing but in maths we call this as a ray. Nothing but a vector is represented by a ray. The length of the line segment represent the magnitude and this arrow mark will show the direction of the vector quantity. Will show the direction of the vector quantity. For example, I am telling some force 5 newtons in east direction. I am telling you. East direction I am telling you. 5 newtons. 5. This 5 represent the magnitude. Nothing but the length of the line segment you can call. Nothing but this is 5 centimeters. And east direction. Nothing but this arrow mark is showing the direction. In this way, we are going to represent a vector. And how it is denoted. For example, if I say vector A, then you have to write A and at the top you have to keep a small arrow mark. Then we call this as vector A. If I say vector B, you can write this as vector B. Right. Next, let us learn about types of vectors. Right. What are types of vectors? How many types of vectors are there? First, let us learn equal vectors. Okay. Now let us learn about types of vectors. Types of vectors. First one is equal vector. What do you mean by equal vector? Let us suppose I have two vectors A and B. If these two vectors having same magnitude and same direction. Same magnitude, same direction. Nothing but the length of the line segments are same and they are acting in same direction. Then I can say these two vectors as equal vector. Next, let us see what do you mean by like vectors. Like vectors nothing but the vectors magnitude is different. You can see here magnitude is different, but the direction is same. Then I can say these vectors called like vectors. And next, what do you mean by unlike vectors? Next, what do you mean by unlike vectors? Unlike vectors means magnitude is different and even direction is also different. Then I can say this as unlike vectors. Unlike vectors. Right. Once again, what do you mean by equal vectors? If the two vectors having same magnitude and having same direction, then we call that as equal vectors. Then next, like vectors. What do you mean by like vectors? Vectors having different magnitudes but same direction, then that vectors are called like vectors. What about unlike vectors? Having different magnitudes and different directions, then we can call that vectors as unlike vectors. Right. Next, let us know what do you mean by negative vector. Okay, let us take again two vectors A and B. A and B, I will represent A vector something 5 newtons or 5 newtons, and that let us represent B vector having same magnitude but opposite in direction. Same magnitude, opposite in direction. Then I can say A is the negative vector of B, or I can say B is the negative vector of A. How can I represent? I can write like this. A vector nothing but minus B vector. This minus sign indicates negative. Nothing but B is the negative vector of A, or A is the negative vector of B is the negative vector of A. So I can say about negative vectors in this manner. Right? Here, if having same magnitudes but opposite in direction, then I can say these vectors are called negative vectors. Next, let us talk about unit vector. Very important one. Unit vector. What do you mean by unit vector? Unit, here the unit represents 1. Nothing but the vector whose magnitude is 1. The vector whose magnitude is 1, we call that vector as unit vector. Sir, how to represent the unit vector? Let us suppose I have a vector A. I have a vector A having some magnitude and direction. Right. Sir, I want a unit vector in this direction only. Then how to write? Then I can write a unit vector, another unit vector. I can write like this. I am calling this as unit vector. B is called unit vector. How to write? A vector by mod A. Nothing but vector is divided with its magnitude. The vector is divided with its magnitude. Then I can say B is unit vector in the direction of A. In the direction of A. Have you understood? Again I will tell you. Let us consider a vector having some magnitude and direction. Now I want unit vector. Unit nothing but its magnitude should be 1. Let that unit vector be B. How to write that unit vector in the direction of A? Vector A by mod A. This is called modulus. This modulus nothing but its magnitude of A. Magnitude of A means nothing but if the vector is divided by its magnitude, then we will get the unit vector. Right. Next, last one is zero vector. Just now how I said unit nothing but magnitude should be 1. In the same manner, if the magnitude is 0, then we call that vector as zero vector. Good morning students. Yesterday we have learnt about scalars and vector quantities. Right. I said yesterday that a physical quantity which has both magnitude and direction is called vector quantity, I said. But don't think that a physical quantity is always a vector if it has both magnitude and direction. Then how can we say it is a vector quantity? It should obey some conditions. What are the conditions? The first one is the quantity can be resolved into its components. That is the first one. And the second one is it should obey certain geometrical laws such as vector additions. Right. Now today let us learn how a vector can be resolved. Nothing but resolution. Resolution of vector. Nothing but a vector can be split into its components. For example, if I take along in two-dimensional along x-axis and y-axis, if I take along x-axis and y-axis, and here this is the vector represented by A, and it can be resolved into two components. How can it be resolved into two components? This vector now I am writing as AXI and AY, AXY, AXI and AYZ. This AX is called component of vector along x-axis, and AY is called component of vector A along y-axis. What is AX and what is AY? AX is nothing but A cos theta, and AY is nothing but A sin theta. So I can write A vector as A cos theta I plus A sin theta j. What is this I and j? I and j. I is called unit vector along x-axis and j is called unit vector along y-axis. This cap represents unit vector. This cap represents unit vector. Right. Can I find the magnitude if I write in the form of components? Yes, we can find the magnitude of this vector even if it is represented in the form of components. How can I find the magnitude of this vector? Magnitude nothing but mod of A. Nothing but this one I can write as square root of ax square plus ay square. Right. Now this vector is making some angle theta with the x-axis, let us suppose. Just I said what is theta? Theta is nothing but the vector making an angle theta with the x-axis. How can we find this theta? But just by simple formula, tan theta equals to ay by ax. Right? Yes. Okay students, if the vector is resolved in three-dimensional, that is along x-axis, along y-axis and along z-axis, let us suppose a vector A is there and it is making some angle theta with the x-axis. Then how can we represent this one? Very simple. This vector A I can write as ax I plus ayz plus az k. Right. What is I cap? What is j cap? What is k cap? These are the unit vectors along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Okay students, let this vector is making an angle alpha with x-axis, beta with y-axis and gamma with z-axis. Then I can write cos alpha as ax by under root of ax square plus ay square plus az square. Right. In the same manner, if I write cos beta, I can write as ay by under root ax square plus ay square plus az square. Similarly, cos gamma, I can write as az by under root ax square plus ay square plus az square. Right? Okay. Now let us see. Let a vector A as axi plus ayj plus azk, and B vector B I am writing as bxi byz and bzk. Right. Now, if there are two vectors, let us assume A vector and B vector. Then, what is A vector plus B vector? How can I write this one? Very simple. It can be written as ax plus bx I, ay plus by z plus az plus bz k. In this manner, we can add the two vectors. And if I ask you what is A vector minus B vector, that is in the similar manner, ax minus bx I cap, ay minus by I cap, and az minus bz k cap. Right? Okay. Suppose now, so just you can see here, how can we add two vectors if they are in the form of components? If the vector A is in the form of axi plus ayz plus azk, and B vector bxi plus byz plus bzk, then if I ask you to add these two vectors, we can add its components by keeping I cap. We can add. So ax plus bxi plus ay plus byz plus az plus bz k. In the same manner, subtraction also. Right. Now, and one more thing we can see here, if ax by bx is equals to ay by by equals to az by bz equal to some constant k, then I can say that A vector is parallel to B vector. Nothing but these two vectors are parallel. If ax by bx equals to ay by by equals to az by bz, if it is, you are getting some minus value, nothing but some constant k, negative value of some constant you are getting, then I can say that these two vectors, A vector and B vector, are anti-parallel. Anti-parallel, nothing but parallel, but they are in opposite direction. Nothing but, in this case, two vectors are in same direction and they are parallel. In this case, two vectors are parallel, but they are in opposite direction. Right. Thank you. Okay. Now let us learn about addition of vectors. Before that, I will tell you one thing. We can add scalars by using simple basic algebra. Just let me tell you, for example, if I tell you 1 plus 2, you will tell simply as 3. Here, this is called algebra. But this algebra we cannot use in vectors. Let me tell you one example. For example, I have 5 kgs mass and I have another 5 kgs mass. If I add this, you will tell, no doubt it is a 10 kgs. Nothing but here it is mass. Mass nothing but it don't have any direction. So we can add by using simple algebra. But if I take vector, for example 5 newtons, and if I take another 5 newtons, you can tell it has a 10 newtons, but it will not always a 10 newtons. It may not always a 10 newtons. The sum may be lies between 0 newtons to 10 newtons. Why it will be like that? Let me explain. Let us talk about this thing. But one thing, remember, the sum of the vectors, here we call it as resultant. Now let us see, two vectors are there. They are in the same direction and they are parallel to each other. Let this vector be A vector and this vector be B vector, and they are in same direction and they are parallel to each other. Then the resultant, nothing but the sum of these two vectors is C. Then I can write this as simply A plus B. Right. If two vectors are there opposite in the direction, that this vector is A and this vector is B, then the resultant of this vector I can write as A plus, I will take the sign minus, indicating that this vector is in opposite direction to A vector. Right. Now let us see, if two vectors are not parallel, they are inclined with each other, nothing but they are making some angle theta, then how can we add these two vectors? How can we add the two vectors? Here, to add the two vectors, if they are inclined with each other, there are certain laws are there. Now let us see those laws first. The first law is called triangle law of vector addition. Triangle law of vector addition. What it tells us? How can we add two vectors by using this triangle law of vector additions? Let me tell you, if two vectors are represented by two sides of a triangle, then the third side taken in opposite direction represent the resultant of the two vectors. Let me explain. Let this vector is A and this vector is B, and the resultant is called C. Then I can say that C vector, we have taken in opposite direction, so I can write C equals to A plus B. So what is a triangle of vector addition? In triangle of vector, according to triangle of vector addition, if two vectors are taken as two sides of a triangle, then the third side, which is taken in opposite direction, represent the resultant of the two vectors A and B. Right? There is another law called parallelogram law of vector addition. Parallelogram of vector addition. The name itself represents that it's parallelogram. If you take a parallelogram, if any two sides of a parallelogram is represented by two vectors, then this diagonal represents the resultant of these two vectors. Nothing but this, the resultant. C is called resultant. That is nothing but A vector plus B vector. Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn about multiplication of vectors. There are two methods for multiplying the vectors. They are scalar product and vector product. Now let us learn about scalar product. Now let us consider two vectors A and B. These are the two vectors. They are inclined with an angle theta. Then the scalar product, nothing but we can call scalar product as dot product. We can call scalar product, we can call as dot product also. Dot product. Now A dot B can be written as mod A mod B cos theta. Nothing but the dot product of two vectors is the product of magnitude of two vectors and cosine of the angle between them. Now let us learn some important properties of dot product. Right. The first property is A dot B is equals to B dot A. Nothing but scalar product is commutative. The next one is A dot B plus C. I can write as A dot B plus A dot C. Nothing but the scalar product is distributive. And ordinary algebraic laws are true for dot products. Let me show you once. Let me take A plus B dot C plus D. Then this one I can write as A dot C plus D plus B dot C plus D. B dot C plus D. Here you can see A dot C plus A dot D plus B dot C plus B dot D. And one more thing I am going to tell you, one more important property is, if A dot B is 0, then we can say that two vectors are A vector and B vector are orthogonal. Orthogonal means nothing but they are perpendicular. How can we say that A and B are perpendicular when A dot B is 0? You can see in the formula A dot B is nothing but mod A mod B cos theta. Here if theta is 90 degrees, nothing but between the vectors, if the angle theta is 90, cos 90 becomes 0, then A dot B will become 0. Then I can say that if A dot B is 0, then A and B are orthogonal and perpendicular. Okay students, up to now we have seen some important properties of dot product. Now let us see where we are going to apply this scalar product in our physics. Let me tell you a good example. You know it, what is meant by work done. You know the formula for work? Work formula you will tell as it's a product of force into displacement you will tell. You will write in a simple manner that work you can write as a force into displacement you will tell. Right. But actually work is nothing but dot product of force and the displacement. Here once you can observe carefully, force is a vector quantity, displacement is a vector quantity, and the dot product of force and displacement gives work. But work is a scalar quantity. Work is a scalar quantity. This is a vector quantity and this is a vector quantity. Now vector dot vector gives scalar. Hence we call this product dot product as scalar product. Let me tell you one more example. Power. Power formula is force into velocity. But actually power formula is a dot product of force and velocity. Here you can see, here it is a vector quantity, here it is a vector quantity. Both are vector quantities. Dot product of vector gives scalar quantity. Right. Students, now let us learn about vector product. It is also called cross product. Now consider two vectors A and B inclined with an angle theta. Then the cross product of these two vectors is denoted as A cross B. Hence it is called cross product, and it is defined as mod A mod B sin theta. Nothing but the cross product of two vectors is the product of magnitudes of two vectors and sine of the angle between them. Okay, fine. When you multiply the two vectors using cross product or vector product, you will get a vector again. You will get a vector again. Nothing but that vector will have magnitude as well as a direction. Magnitude you will get by the formula. And what about the direction? The direction is can be get by using right hand rule. What is right hand rule? Place your curled fingers on the board such that these two vectors on the board, then the thumb represent the direction of the resultant. Direction of the resultant. Have you understood the right hand rule? Place your right hand such that the curled fingers shows the direction of the vectors on the plane, then the thumb represent the direction of the resultant. Nothing but the resultant vector is perpendicular to the plane having the two vectors. Now let us learn the important properties of cross product. The first one is A cross B is not equal to B cross A. Nothing but the commutative property in cross product is not obeyed. Next property is, now if you observe here, a vector is multiplied by itself, then you will get 0. This is another important property of cross product. And the third one is, if you observe carefully, A cross B plus C, we can write as A cross B plus A cross C. Nothing but vector product is distributive property. Now the last property of the cross product is, if A cross B is 0, then we can say that A and B vectors are parallel. A and B vectors are parallel. Now once again let us recall the important properties. A cross B is not equal to B cross A. Nothing but here cross product is not commutative. Right? Next, A cross A is 0. Nothing but the self product of a vector is 0. Next, A cross B plus C is equals to A cross B plus A cross C. Just observe, A cross B plus A cross C. Nothing but cross product is distributive. And if you observe A cross B equals to 0, then I can say that these two vectors are parallel to each other. Now let us learn the applications of cross product. Where do we are going to use this cross product or vector product in our day-to-day life? Now let us see a good example. If you observe a triangle and this base of this triangle is represented by with vector A, and let the height of this is represented with some vector B, you think, then what do you write? Area of triangle. Generally you know it, half into base into it. Nothing but here half into cross product of these two vectors. Half into cross product of these two vectors, not this one. We can take this as vector B. Then the area of this triangle I can write as half into A cross B. In the same manner, if you observe a parallelogram and two vectors represented by the adjacent sides of a triangle, then the area of this parallelogram can be written as A cross B. A cross B. Now let us learn about unit vectors along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Already I said I is called unit vector along x-axis, j is called unit vector along y-axis, k is called unit vector along z-axis. Now in case of dot product, for example, if I write I dot I, nothing but I dot I, and what is j dot j and k dot k. What I, j and k are called? These are called unit vectors along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. If you multiply the unit vectors using dot product, then you will get it as 1. You will get it as 1. What about if you are multiplying I dot j or j dot k or k dot I, then it is 0. Then it is 0. And in case of cross product, suppose if I write I cross I, or if I write j cross j or k cross k, then I should write it as 0. Then what about I cross j? I should write it as k. J cross k, I should write it as I. You can remember in a simple manner, I, j, k. I dot j gives k. J dot k gives I. K dot K cross product I, K cross product I gives J product. You may get one doubt. If you multiply the cross product reverse, then it is not equal. Already I said commutative property is not obeyed in case of cross product. So J cross I is, it is minus K. K cross J is, it is minus I. I cos K. I cos K is nothing but it is minus J.